Hello guys, Arcand here. I am the darkness in the light, the flower on the wall, and the resplendent nightfall. Okay, that may sound cringy, but this is my channel, and I can call myself whatever I want. That intro may or may not be subject to change. Yes, I am not using the latest build of Lyre for this episode, and I apologize for that, but I already started recording using this version earlier in the year, and um, I wasn't able to finish it right away. I got busy, life got in the way, and when I wanted to continue it, I just thought for continuity's sake, I would just continue using this build of Lyre, and then I'll just use the newer build for the next recordings. I can't promise when I will be able to make newer episodes for Lyre since YouTube is like a hobby for me. Sometimes I may have time for it, sometimes I may not. So yeah, enough rambling and excuses. Let's go on and get on with it. Welcome back to my Let's Read of Lyre, the visual novel. So let's go find Lyle again, shall we? Chapter 6, Day 20. To my friend and colleague, Agostovich. Your symphony will be carried on the winds. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, so the previous composer for Lyre, Agostovich, passed away. So um, my condolences, and I hope that his soul may rest in peace. I slowly come to, feeling extremely delirious. Thankfully, there were no nightmares or any dreams for that matter. My sleep was very empty and as black as night. I suddenly realized that the disturbance that had woken me up was the noise of knocking at my door. The knocking gets louder as I stumble out of bed and throw a coat around my naked torso. Whoever's at the door clearly has something urgent to tell me. Just a moment! I reach the door and open it expecting to see Lyle or Leaf. Prince Adrius? He recoils a bit at my surprise, but quickly composes himself. Lord Reissler. He looks me up and down with a judgmental gaze. I see you still aren't dressed for the ball. I awkwardly pull the coat more tightly around my body to cover up. It's the best I can do considering I'm only wearing a pair of loose trousers and no shoes or socks. I was resting. What could he possibly want with me? Why would he be here to see me? Usually whenever we have a simple chat, it's in the dining chambers or the halls. Please, come in. I usher for him to enter, but he stays standing in the doorway. I decide to humor myself and make him uncomfortable by insisting upon it more. Your Highness, it's very cold out and I would rather not let the draft in. He's hesitant, but walks into the room and takes a seat in one of the chairs, dusting it off first, of course. I doubt it's outside your understanding as to why I am here. I take a seat at my desk and place my hands on my lap. Actually, I have not the slightest idea. It's all a bit surprising. Yes, I suppose it is. After this brief interaction, a long moment of silence follows. He sits there, tracing his finger along the patterns on the fabric of the chair he's sitting in. Every moment that passes, I just wish that I was somewhere else. I can no longer bear the senseless amount of silence that echoes throughout the room, so I clear my throat. It's nice to see that your horns have grown back already. He instinctively brings his hands up to his horns and runs his fingers up to the tips. Yes, that oil does seem to work wonders. I take it you'll be able to attend the ball tonight then, without any embarrassment? He lowers his hands from caressing his horns and looks at me. No, I don't think I will be attending tonight. As much as my father wishes me to. He pauses for several seconds, looking out the window with a glare in his eyes. I apologize for my outburst the other day. It was an embarrassing moment for me, and I regret my actions. Do my ears deceive me? Am I getting a heartfelt apology from the prince himself? I can't help but wonder if this ever happens. He almost choked those last few words out. Your Highness, all is forgiven. It did not affect me as bad as you would think.
That's good to hear. But that is not why I am here.
There he is. It was all formality, as I predicted.
The reason I am here has to do with yesterday's events.
He sits up a bit and stares into my eyes. His eyes are big and have bright golden brown pupils. Oh, yes, I was acting a bit irrational. I must have been terribly delirious, but I am feeling much better now that...
You know what happened.
Sorry, what?
My mother's death. What happened 10 years ago? As irrelevant as it is,
I...
how did you come to find out about this information? You arrive here a clueless, naive ambassador, clearly only armed with your people skills, and yet...
He pauses to shake his head as he prepares his next rude yet witty comment.
And yet you still lack in that regard.
Now wait just a moment.
And now only a little over 2 weeks into your stay here, and you already know of this tragic event. And with such detail.
He stares at me with an intensity I've never seen before.
It's almost as if you were there when it happened.
His fist is clenched tightly enough to where I can see the fabric stretching and creasing. I'm not really sure what he's implying by this, but I know that he is definitely not happy. All sense of casual conversation is now gone as tension rises in the room. I place my hands on the desk and drum my fingers on an open book. Yes, I guess it would seem like that. But as unbelievable as it may sound, it was from a nightmare. He lowers his fist, yet still maintains his deadly eye contact. I've come to the conclusion that it was pure coincidence, nothing more. This isn't the case, but I would rather not make a fool of myself in front of him as I did the others. The more and more time passes, the more I regret reacting in such an undignified manner. I understand that almost anyone would react in that way if something like that happened to them, but I can't help but feel stupid. It was merely a few traits from the nightmare coinciding with the actual event.
No, some of those traits could not have been coincidental. Everything from your account was perfectly accurate to how Father described the original event.
Wait just a moment. How do you know so much about what happened yesterday? He quickly stands up from his chair.
Never mind how I know. I don't know what you're up to, but I don't like it.
I quickly stand from my desk. He can clearly see that I am not enjoying these vague accusations. I don't like how he thinks he can treat people this way, and if I'm going to be advising him in the distant future, he needs to learn what that means. I don't know what you're talking about, Adrius, but I am certainly not up to anything. You may be the prince, but don't let that give you the impression that you can come into my quarters and accuse me of treasonous behavior. I haven't said or done anything that should lead you to this conclusion. After I'm done shouting, I feel a sense of triumph. You would expect someone like him to be completely shocked by my sudden outburst. He's probably never been told off by anyone beneath him before. Despite my judgments, he just runs his hand along the arm of the chair as he walks towards the door, looking me in the eye.
I never said anything about treason.
He reaches the door and opens it, a thick gust of cold air flying into the room and settling to the floor.
Father has told me that once I am king, you will be advising me, even though I feel that is something I should choose. Allow me to bestow some advice to you, Lord Reissler, before that time comes.
He steps out into the hall, holding the door open.
I would watch what I say and do in this castle. The walls have ears, and oh, how they love to listen.
With that, he exits, the door closing behind him with a muffled thud. I'm still standing at my desk, my muscles straining and my head feeling a bit weak. That edgy little brat. I say this in a low voice after hearing that last comment. Sometimes I am surprised that we're only a little over a year apart. I pull the chair up and sit back down in it, feeling a bit lightheaded. What did he mean by that? Does he have spies roaming about? It would make sense considering he's a noble in an environment full of uncommon and unfamiliar people. But he doesn't seem like the paranoid type. Although having spies never really hurt anybody. But for what reason would I want to cause trouble? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I fiddle with the trinkets and items on my desk in a lazy manner. I'm thinking too much about this. It's most likely an empty threat from a person I still haven't gained the trust of. And I haven't done anything wrong. I still can't help getting the feeling that I'm being watched. It's not a feeling I enjoy. He's just an entitled brat that needs to get out more. An untouchable entitled brat. I'm going to watch my step around him, though. But I'm definitely not going to bend to his will. His mother's death is no excuse to be rude and insensitive. I rest my head on my desk and try to think about something else. The ball should be starting soon and I haven't gotten ready yet. There's another knock at the door. Coming. I open it to find a servant standing in the doorway.
Lord Reissler, the winter solstice ball will be starting shortly. I have been sent to help you prepare and escort you.
He's a small badger with plain clothes and a pleasant face. He looks to be no older than I am, but I really can't tell. For me, it's much easier to judge a human by their age. Prepare?
Yes, getting dressed and whatnot.
Oh no, I don't think I'll be needing help with that. I'm quite capable of dressing myself, thank you. He seems shocked by this, but I can tell he doesn't object.
Very well, but I'll be outside ready to escort you to the ballroom when you're done.
Thank you.
Of course, my lord.
He leaves through the door and another gust of wind pushes into the room. This coat is no longer keeping me from getting cold, so I quickly toss it off and throw it to the side. As I stand there shirtless looking in the mirror, I can't help but feel amazed at how my body has been able to stay in shape. I've always been more on the lean side, but I still have plenty of muscle in a toned body. Oh, lucky you. Lucky you. My arms and the better part of my torso are covered with a moderately thick layer of hair as well as a few scars from my past. The winter sunlight from the setting sun shines on my golden skin in a very nice way. I've never been one to care too much about my looks, but maybe Lyle is right. Maybe I am one of the most desirable bachelors in Erin. Then again, no family name puts a damper on that. I'd be nothing more than a pretentious flirt. As I think about my vanity, I mess with my hair in the mirror trying to see if I can make it look special for tonight, but I just settle with tying it back. I walk over to one of my chest of drawers and pull out the neatly folded suit I plan on wearing tonight. It's a light and breathable black wool coat with the silver buttons and silk accents. There's a vented back flap and a cape attached to the shoulders that flows nicely down to the back of my knees. Along with it is a pair of black trousers and a white dress shirt with the ruffled sleeves. To top it off, there is a pair of ballroom shoes that I have been saving for this occasion. They are a sleek black with leather laces and silver aglets. To add some color, there's a diamond blue silk scarf that tucks into the collar of the outfit. I take it over to the mirror and start to undress. After I'm fully nude, I dampen a towel and freshen up. Once I'm dressed, the sunset has already shifted to a moonlit evening. The servant outside of my door has already addressed me several times, letting me know that the festivities have most likely already started. I'm in no rush, though. I never like to arrive to a gathering early. Me too. Arriving to a party too early can result in many uncomfortable situations that I would rather avoid. I'm still reeling from my encounter with Adrius from earlier. I'd rather avoid people dumping information and unwanted questions on me at the current moment. The night is supposed to be a night of pleasure and clever conversation. After the last few stressful days, I would like to take my mind off of everything that has happened. Unfortunately, that will seem impossible with the people that are going to be there. Wherever they go, they bring scandals and trouble. It was never like this in Erin. I feel like I am in a charade of falsities. Nobody ever shows their true intentions. Except him, of course. Lyle is different from the rest of them. I guess that's what I like the most about him. Conversation between the two of us is as formal as ever, yet it feels genuine coming from him. I guess the main reason why is because I can trust his loyalty. Loyalty? I say to myself out loud. I guess it really is one of his most admirable qualities. Usually one would admire someone who inspires loyalty, but I for one have always admired those who show it. It takes a great amount of bravery and trust to follow someone to the end.
My lord, are you all right?
My restless ramblings fade away as the servant outside breaks me from my inner thoughts. Yes, I am fine, thank you.
We really should be going. The king is expecting you and will start to wonder where you are.
When he says this, I feel a twinge of guilt, so I quickly straighten out my suit in the mirror and adjust my hair. Yes, of course, I'll be out in just a moment. As I am walking to the door, I spot something on my desk that makes me realize that I've almost forgotten something. It's my silver ring from Erin, with a sapphire socketed in the center. I usually wear it on special occasions, mainly because I'm not really a ring person. They always seem to get in the way of doing anything with my hands. I pick the ring up and slip it onto the middle finger on my left hand. I'm tempted to slip it onto my ring finger, but then people would assume I'm engaged, which is not the case. I do tinker with the idea of someone slipping an engagement ring onto my finger for just a moment. The idea sends a chill up my spine and then some when I think of Lyle doing it. His gentle claws pinching the ring and sliding it up to my knuckle. God, I've got to stop doing that. I stride up to the door and pull it open. I'm instantly met with a chilling rush of wind on my face. The air outside is dry, cold, and immediately makes my face feel numb. Good God, it's freezing!
It is the first day of winter.
I didn't expect it to get this cold. I pull my scarf up around my neck and tuck my hands into my armpits.
Our winters are famously harsh. The Vitality Fire helps with that, though.
He walks ahead and I quickly shuffle behind him.
The weather isn't nearly as bad as it will get, though. Soon the plants will have to be brought in, because at one point the fire isn't enough.
He turns around and notices me shivering uncontrollably.
Don't worry, my lord. The ballroom is not very far.
Just call me Reissler.
As you wish.
The further we go into the castle, the more warm the air becomes. Once we get closer to the grand hall, we see more and more people. Ladies in bright colorful dresses and men in black suits similar to mine. They seem to be on their way into the ballroom.
This way, Reissler. Your party will be near the king's lounge.
I turn around to see him ushering me down a side hall with a high roof. There's a few attendants standing outside of the front door wearing beautiful black uniforms. They stand straight when they see us approach.
Here you are.
Two attendants open the double doors and usher me to walk through. I'm surprisingly nervous. The sudden change in temperature causes a chill to run down my spine and I suddenly break into a cold sweat. It's now or never. Thank you.
Of course.
I step through the doorway and enter onto a balcony.
Whoa!
The ballroom is so nice. It's so nice. It's so pretty. And so many people, so many characters. I love it. I'm left completely speechless. If I had a single word to describe the ballroom, it would be elegance. Yes, that is the perfect word for it. This section alone is completely massive, with a roof almost as tall as the throne rooms. There are large thick ivory curtains that line the walls, closing off sections of the hall. Large pillars of pale marble and stone adorn the walls and corners of the room, with a grand U-shaped staircase leading down from the balcony I'm standing on. Tables are strewn about the sides of the hall in a loose yet satisfying fashion. Candles, plants, and enchanting centerpieces decorate the tables and cast a soft, warm light on the faces of the people sitting at them. The floor shines brightly and almost reflects everything like a mirror. Its checkered pattern reminds me of a chessboard. It makes sense considering that chess is almost like a dance in a way. There are a lot of individuals out on the floor. Most of them are avians and mammals. Some of them are standing off to the side in small groups, each group chatting amongst themselves. The others are dancing to the beautiful waltz playing from the small stage at the base of the balcony. The music is very lovely and brings life to the room. I gotta say, yes, the music of the ballroom is very nice. It reminds me of, Beauty and the Beast? One touch that the room has that catches my eye is a dim pink light that comes down from the chandeliers above. It casts the entire room in a rose hue and changes the ivory into a light pink and the marble into a rose quartz. Oh, that sentence is so beautiful. There are already a few people walking down the steps, a few elbows? There are already a few people walking down the steps, a few couples with elbows locked. I begin to head down the stairs behind them and reach the bottom. The wall to my right is lined with tables full of delicious-looking food. Pastries and tarts line trays along with small boards of cheese and olives. Fruit towers and cobblers are arranged neatly on plates, and there's an entire table dedicated to kegs of different types of fine wine. Each keg has a labeled tap, and in the very middle is a table with a pyramid of wine glasses organized delicately in the center. Each glass is filled with a different type of wine, and in the center is a decorative candelabra that shines light through all of the glasses, creating a colorful light show on the floors and walls around it. Wow! Yes, indeed. Gah! Kadaj seems to appear behind me a few steps up the stairs. He reaches my level and puts his paw on my shoulder. Absolutely stunning, is it not? He gestures out towards everyone dancing on the floor. All of our hard work paid off, wouldn't you agree? Well, all of your hard work. My job was easy. He says this last part offhandedly, but in an amusing way. I suppose so. He pats me on the back and steps down. I get a good look at his outfit. It's a sleek black outfit with gold trimming. The suit fits him nicely and makes him look agile and graceful. A small golden crest is placed on his left breast along with a green lapel. To top it off, there's a green satin necktie wrapped around his collar. Once again, he has matched his clothes with his bright green eyes. As I eye his suit, I notice him looking me up and down. Reissler, I must say you look rather handsome tonight. Even after what happened yesterday. Oh, thank you? Is he flirting with me? Or is he just messing with me? You look good too. You like it? He says as he puts emphasis on his suit. Outfits like this are very popular with gentlemen in the Riz. I had it tailored to fit my body perfectly. Well, it certainly does. Thank you. There's a moment of silence which I decide to break. Did you decide to come with anyone tonight? No, I don't think so. That's perfectly alright. There are plenty of people on the dance floor without a partner. I'm surprised he didn't manage to secure a partner. I'm even more surprised that girls weren't flocking after him like a murder of crows. A foreign lord with a distinct accent and charming good looks. He's perfect. No, I don't see anyone doing any of the dances I know. Not as athletic as I had hoped. But still, it is a dance. He puts his paw on my shoulder again. He's certainly the physical type. I'll see you out on the floor. He turns to walk away, but stops in his tracks. Oh, one other thing. Enjoy tonight while it lasts. I'm told that tomorrow is when the real work starts. What do you mean by that? He walks toward a group of people and does a flourished bow to a black cat. She accepts his advance and they lock shoulders, walking away from the group towards the dance floor. So it's that easy, huh? Well, for him at least. I wish it was that easy for me. What did he mean by that last remark, though? What's the real work going to be? I look over toward the stage and admire the musicians to take my mind off of it. There's a small river otter playing a grand piano. It's about half the size of a regular piano, and still his feet can barely reach the pedals. He's wearing a black suit with a ruffled collar. His playing is pretty good, and I become entranced by his paws sliding up and down the keys. That is, until I notice the sweet melody coming from the violinist. They are a snow leopard with a flowing mane of brown hair, wearing a black suit with ruffled sleeves and a ruffled hem. His eyes are closed as he performs the waltz, standing front and center. You can really tell that he's feeling the music as his fingers dance across the strings. Yes, look at him, look at his face. It looks like pure harmony. Truly a master. I've always been a fan of music. The world just can't do without it. Yes, I agree. The stage that they're standing on is framed by a tasteful golden archway, with curtains falling down to the ground. The gold is textured so that it catches the light in an interesting way. Each intricate swirl and detail is graced by sparkles of candle light. The acoustics of the stage are nice too, and it allows the music to travel around the entire room. This room must have cost Reissler a fortune. Speaking of Reissler... Damn it, I should have asked Kadaj if he knew where the King's Lounge was. He's actually stepped foot into this room several times during the planning, while I have not. Too late now, I might as well go looking for it myself. As I'm about to walk around the outer walls and find my way among the crowd, I notice a tall pair of antlers. I recognize them as Reynar's horns, considering the other deer in the castle are a bit shorter than him. His antlers are also much taller. On my way over, he spots me. Ooh, there he is. Raynar looking so handsome and dashing. Reissler. Raynar says this in a surprisingly jovial tone. Hello. He is certainly decorated. His outfit is simple and beautiful. A dark black suit with a shoulder cape. The cape is adorned with a golden peacock feather pattern with a green gemstone in the center. The suit also has the Ocean crest placed on the left breast. The outfit does a good job at showing off his body too. With that big coat on all the time, you don't get to see much, but he is quite muscular. I would even venture to say he rivals Lyre in that department. He is truly the biggest stag I have ever seen. The most interesting part of his choice in fashion is the golden flecks that he has decorated one of his antlers with. Oh yes, one of his antlers looks so shiny and pretty. Everything matches and it's all designed beautifully. I'd expect nothing less from a king. Your suit is very nice, Reissler. Is it from Erin? Yes, and it was very hard to find something like this. The weather is much more harsh than I predicted. He takes a drink from his glass. I can't imagine how hard it would have been to find something warmer. I'd imagine it would be very difficult. A server walks by and Raynar places his empty glass on the tray. He also grabs a new one. Before the moment is lost, I prepare to apologize for what happened. Raynar, I wanted to apologize for what happened the other day. It was not my intention to cause so much chaos. I was just very frightened and I should have taken more control of my emotion. He holds up a hand to stop me from going any further. It's perfectly fine, Reissler. We move closer to the edge of the room as he continues to speak. His hooves clop on the ground in a satisfying way. You don't have to apologize for anything. Leaf explained to me what you told him. He did? Yes. You don't need to worry about it. I was hurt and confused at first, but I knew you wouldn't act so unhinged without reason. We shall talk about it later in private. Oh, okay. He glances around the room while we talk and I notice him set his eyes on something. Ah, here comes Elizabeth. Maybe you can get a second chance at a first impression. He says this jabbing me in the shoulder with his elbow. That would make it a second impression. Wow. She looks completely different from how I remember her. She's looking at me with a perplexed look that slowly fades into a look of slight discomfort. Perfect. Her hair is no longer loose and tied back, but is instead brought up into an intricate braided crown with gems weaved throughout the braid. The dress that she wears is a light cyan cloth with crystal-like leaves delicately sewn onto the base. The sleeves come down past her hands and drape by her sides. It's a very pretty dress, but I'd appreciate it if she would stop staring at me with those dead eyes. You certainly look better. She says this in a droll tone. Yes, thank you. I apologize for the other day. She wastes no time in answering. Apology accepted. I don't really understand what was going on, but Raynar speaks very highly of you. I trust his judgment. She turns to him slowly with a cocked eyebrow. I just hope he trusts his own judgment. Raynar rolls his eyes amusingly at this comment, not taking it too seriously. Yes, he has been nothing but helpful. And a good friend. Liz? She tilts her head at him with a look of intrigue. If you say so. Another servant walks by with a tray of drinks. She takes one off and so do I. Liz, why are you not dancing? I thought you enjoyed dancing. You talk so fondly of your experiences during your stay in the Riz. She smiles and takes a sip from her glass.
I have already danced to a few songs with a couple of lords, but I've been taking a small break. I'd like to see you dance in these.
She lifts her dress and gestures to her footwear, which look a bit uncomfortable. Hell, I'd like to see him wearing shoes. I say this as I point at his hooves. That would be an interesting sight. He chuckles as he retorts. Even Elizabeth lets out a laugh. The jokes and small talk help to lighten the mood a bit. Elizabeth sighs and then looks over at me, her lips pressed up to her wine glass as she speaks.
Reissler, was it? Do you dance?
Oh. Well, I'm certainly not beat deaf, but I wouldn't consider myself the best at dancing. She eyes me while taking a sip from her glass. Her eyes are starting to give off less of a dead look and more of a smug demeanor.
I guess we'll just have to see.
She holds out her hand. I don't...
Would you like to dance?
I stare at her hand for a moment, feeling a bit intimidated. It's not that I don't want to dance, I just don't want to inflict more harm to my dignity. No, it's just a dance. Nothing out of the ordinary. I take her hand in my own and give a slight bow. It would be my pleasure. She gives me an excited smile. It's weird, she doesn't seem like the type to smile. The first impression I got from her made me think she would be much more... stern? I think I'll go get one last drink. We leave Raynar as he heads for the tables and make our way out onto the floor. The musicians are already playing a song, so we just join the dance. I take her hand and she rests her arm on my shoulder. I gently place my hand on her waist and we begin to sway and step in motion to the song. Her dress gently glides across the floor and I find myself trying not to step on it.
See, you're too hard on yourself.
No, you are too kind. The situation becomes less awkward as we finally settle into the rhythm of the music.
You sound a lot like my father.
What?
Oh, it's nothing. You just share the same accent as him.
Oh. She has a Lyrian accent, though. Did you grow up here?
For the most part. My father and I moved here from Erin when I was just an infant.
For what reason?
It's nothing really important. I guess Lyre just presented him with a really good opportunity.
I hold her hand up into the air and guide her around me in a circle. After she makes the full cycle around me, we go back to doing our gentle waltz. I spot Kadaj on the other side of the ballroom, chatting up a few girls. It looks like he's showing them a very energetic dance. Some of them are giggling and he's clearly got them in the palm of his paw. Would it be safe to guess you didn't grow up around humans much?
Isn't it obvious? Yes, it would. Growing up in Lyre, I've only had the pleasure of knowing a few humans. I've met plenty of humans in my 25 years of living, but I've only known a few.
I really can't imagine that. In Erin, it's quite the opposite.
I know. The climate is much more favorable for us over there.
I almost step on her foot, but narrowly avoid it. I look to her for a reaction, but it looks like she's trying to ignore it. Yes, it is.
How do you like it here in Lyre, though?
Oh, it's very nice. The people here are very pleasant. I've been welcomed with open arms on multiple occasions. Although I'm starting to think that some of the people here can be a bit fake.
I even hear that you have become very good friends with the captain of the Royal Guard.
At this point, I do slightly trip over her foot, which causes me to lose my balance for a moment. Yes, I have. He has been an excellent acquaintance these past few weeks.
I'd imagine so. Captain Reed and I don't converse much, but he is a very kind wolf. He's done so much for this kingdom, and I think he's the best person to introduce you to this land.
I agree.
Although I will admit, I believe he is a bit afraid of me.
What? Lyle? Afraid of you?
Yes, but believe me, it makes sense. You haven't seen much of it, but I can be a completely different person at times. When it comes to my job, I can be very serious.
That clears up a lot. I steady myself and we resume our dance. I can understand that. It's just the way I am. As the king's advisor, it is my job to make sure things run smoothly. I've also been told I can be a bit intimidating. I can definitely understand that. She smirks and then sighs while letting out a chuckle. I can't help it. I work up the courage to ask her another question to keep the conversation going. So, are you fine with going by Elizabeth? What do you mean? Well, Reissler called you Liz earlier. I was just wondering if you preferred a different name. Oh, I see. Most people call me Elizabeth. People I work with call me Liz or Elisa. Only my father can call me Lizzie. And if you ever call me that, you'll regret it. She says this last part with some levity in her voice, which gets me to laugh. Her dry humor is spot on. The song ends and we bow. That was actually quite pleasant. More fun than I thought it would be. She seems happy too, but I can't tell if she's just faking it so as to not insult me. So, what was it like growing up in Erin? As I'm about to answer her, I see someone from across the ballroom floor. It's Lyre. It's Lyre, oh my gosh. He's standing up against the wall close to Reissler watching us dance. I can't really see him too well through the crowd, but I know it's him. Please excuse me. I bow down, kiss the back of her hand, and walk away. Where are you going? I need to go stretch my legs. You're leaving a dance floor to go and stretch your legs? I'm already too far away from her to respond without shouting, so I just keep walking. He spots me walking towards him and he meets me halfway. Oh, there he is! Oh, he's so handsome in his suit. Oh, yes. Yes. Hello, Reissler. Hello. I can't hold it back. My face is probably as flushed as it can get. I've never seen him in anything but his armor and his regular clothes. He looks so handsome in his suit. Oh yes, he does. Oh, Lyle, you're so handsome. It's all snowy white with blue accents and a silver lining on each important piece. His shoulders are adorned with silver epaulets which shine brightly in the candlelight. I like your hair. His tail is wagging furiously behind him, but I try not to make it look like I notice. My hair always looks like this. Oh, yes. So is this some sort of captain's uniform? Actually, yes. I only wear it on special occasions, but it's very uncomfortable. Oh, but I'm glad you like it. Of course. You look very handsome. Oh. What? I watch his hackles raise and his fur fluff out. I guess he really liked that. His tail is still wagging really fast. Thank you. He quickly calms down and takes a sip from his wine glass. It's a slightly bigger one and it's almost empty. So I see you've met Liz. Oh, yes. She seems nice. A lot different from how she was the other day. Well, the other day was a bit hectic. A lot has happened. Like what? Lyle throws a casual yet alert glance around the room. I'll tell you later. It's nothing too serious, trust me. Please don't tell me it was another problem in the canyon. No, nothing like that. Really, I'd rather not talk about it here. Okay, I won't say another word on the subject. I really want to ask about it, but I also don't want to seem like a pest. This is a party. So, earlier you said that you would be doing your job while you were here. Yes? What does that mean? He quirks his lip and thinks for a second. I'm basically here to keep guard. Make sure nothing bad happens. I just have to stay alert. Well then. I grab the empty wine glass from his paw and rotate it, swirling around the minuscule amount of liquid left. Shouldn't you be trying not to get drunk? It's not that. He clears his throat. Trust me, I'll be fine. No, you won't. You might not, but I remember the last time you were drunk. I hand the wine glass back to him. Humans are very pretty, but I think wolves are even prettier. Yes, I agree. Huh? Wait, I said that? I poke him on the nose and step behind him to get a glass off of the wine table. He shakes his head a bit in disbelief and walks up behind me with a smirk. He reaches around to grab his own glass. I can feel him lean close to my ear. His hot breath blows onto the back of my neck. Trust me, drunk or not, I'll always be there to protect you, my lord. This sends a shiver up my spine and I start to feel hot in the face. Stop teasing me. I'm not. Really? I turn around and offer him my hand. Prove it. At first it doesn't look like he knows what I'm implying. Then, as if on cue, he takes my hand right as the musicians prepare to play another song. But as we walk out onto the dance floor, I notice that he looks a bit nervous. I squeeze his paw a bit and he looks down at me. Are you afraid of what they'll think? Two males dancing with each other? You said it yourself, nobody minds. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, well, in Lyre, a wolf. The music starts and he just stands there wide-eyed. Lyle? Right. I'll lead. He grabs me by the waist and takes my hand with his other paw. Oh my gosh, he's dancing with us. I guess I knew that he would be leading considering his stature. I don't want him to have to bend over too much though, so I adjust my arms to his height. Oh, this scene is so nice and it's so magical. Oh, it's just like Beauty and the Beast. The dance starts off a bit slow, with the two of us pacing slowly across the floor. I already feel like I've had a bit too much to drink, even with just one glass. He's not a bad dancer, even considering how different our legs are. Are you comfortable? I don't know. Everyone's looking at us. I look around and notice that there are several people off to the sides who are looking our way. Some of them have shocked expressions and some have blank faces. I see Liz standing off to the side. She has a confused look on her face, but smirks and raises her glass to us. I guess she's figured it out. Don't worry, Lyle. But Lyle. I gently rest my head onto his chest as we move our feet to the rhythm of the song. Oh my gosh. It's just you and me right now. Oh my gosh. I like this so much. Tale as old as time. Beauty and the Beast. Well, Lyle is a beast, but he's the best, so... Beauty and the Best. The lights above us dim and a couple of smooth blue spotlights move around on the floor in rhythm to the music. It creates a very moody lighting and I become entranced in the music. This is the perfect romantic situation. He doesn't respond to that last remark though. Instead, he just holds me closer to his body. The smell of coconut invades my senses and I become lost in his warm embrace. His neck fluff is irresistibly soft. I can hear his heart beating through his chest. It's beating fast. Are you sure you're okay? I don't get a response at first. After a few seconds, he responds. Yes. Sorry, I guess I just froze up. Why is that? I ask this in an amusingly curious voice. Reissler, do you have feelings for me? Oh my gosh, yes, Lyle, yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I can now feel my heart beating rapidly against my ribs. These heavy clothes aren't helping either because I feel myself sweating profusely. Lyle. He guides me around him, similar to how I led Liz around me earlier. Once we meet again, I come back to his front and look off to my side while we continue to dance. Lyle, I'm not sure what I feel. I see him give me an inquisitive yet concerned look from the corner of my eye. My feelings for you grow with every day that passes. I turn to face him, but stare into his torso as I speak. But my emotions are very complex. And sometimes, I don't know what I feel. I wish to be with you, no matter what people think. Our ranks don't matter to me. Our dance turns into more of a conversation, but he still guides me across the floor, his claws clacking against the ground sometimes. I'm only technically a lord. I pause and look up at him. He's staring at me with anticipation. I can tell that you're eager for my answer, but I must ask you this first. The song and dance seems like it is entering its finale. What were you hoping I would say? The waltz reaches its crescendo in its final drawn-out note, and we enter a dip. I glance out of the corner of my eye and notice that the other dancers are going in for a kiss. Oh my gosh, does that mean Lyre will kiss me? Two foxes lock lips and carry each other into a warm embrace. Is this it? Is this happening? My body lowers to the floor as he leans over me. His widened eyes are staring into mine, and I feel as if my gaze has gone through his soul and reflected back into my own. I close my eyes in anticipation. Nothing happens. Oh no. I open my eyes and Lyle is staring at me with a nervous gaze. He raises me back up and glances around at the rest of the room. I'm sorry. We shouldn't have. I look around and see everyone staring at us out of the corner of their eyes. Just us. Just me and him. The room suddenly starts to feel like it's being warped. I pick up on the distant chatter.
Am I the only one who just saw that?
Did that wolf just try to kiss him? No, I think it was the human.
Looked like he was expecting it. I heard them talking on the dance floor. Apparently, that lord has feelings for Captain Reed.
Really? That's completely unheard of.
I doubt he feels the same.
Could you imagine? A wolf in love with a human here in Lyre? No, that's impossible. My mind is spinning right now. 1,000 thoughts run through my head. What is going on? What's so wrong with us being together? They're from Erin, you know. I've heard a lot about how they do things differently there.
Maybe they should just go back to Erin with the rest of their lot. Hey now, there's no need to be insensitive.
So this is what they think? I see Liz standing a bit outside of the crowd. She has a concerned look plastered on her face, and I see her look at me. I watch her mouth some words in my direction, but I can't understand what she's saying. I don't see Reyna or Kadaj anywhere in sight. The music hasn't started playing again. The room becomes a cascading pit that threatens to swallow me. I look up at Lyle and see him glancing around nervously. He looks down at me with fear in his eyes. Reissler, I'm so sorry. I didn't know what to say or do. I tried to... He chokes on his words. He's rubbing his paws together in a nervous way. I'm sorry. I can't believe this. I want to leave. All right. He puts his arm around me and starts to lead me towards the stairs. Alone, please. But I wanted to explain... Lyle, please. We'll talk later. I say this in a hushed whisper. I just don't feel like being around anyone right now. I break away from his arms and begin to walk towards the stairs. Everyone I walk past is completely silent. Every single eye is on me. I hate it. After climbing a few steps, I turn around and address the people in the room. To all of you shams who smile at me through your teeth. I pause, feeling like there's a large ball in my throat. Only to have your good opinion crushed by something so trivial. Enjoy yourselves. There's a dreadful silence that falls over the rest of the ballroom. I look down and see Lyle standing at the base of the steps. He looks concerned and confused, but for a moment I think I can see a flicker of admiration on his face. It's like he's happy I'm standing up for myself. I thought this was a party. There's even more silence before the music resumes. I trudge my way up the stairs and go through the main hall doors. I may be slightly drunk, but it's nothing compared to how drunk I feel from telling everyone off like that. The power fades though as everything settles in. I can't believe this. Is there a problem with interspecies relationships in Lyre? Now that I really think about it, I've never seen one here before. I look back on all the times I've seen a couple and I realize that they've all been the same species. I guess I never really questioned it because it didn't stand out much. Why though? Why is it such a problem? It happens all the time in Erin. I've had my fair share of experiences with several different species, and I know so many people who are with different species. Some of them are even married. They can't have kids, but that's not what it's about. I walk through the halls and run my hand along the wall. Anytime I come across a picture frame, I trace the bottom of the frame with my fingers. I think back to the look on Lyle's face when we had stopped dancing. I think about how he looked that whole time. Every facial expression blends into one. Confliction. I must have put him in a pretty uncomfortable position being so forward like that. I think about the way he looked so nervous and scared. All this time, I thought he was just shy. My pace slows and I feel my eyes start to water. Fuck all of them. That was so embarrassing. I never want to see another noble's face again. With their stuck-up attitudes and pride. I'm just going to do my job and focus on what matters. Reissler! I hear Lyle call my name down the halls. It echoes across the walls of the corridor. His voice gives me the sense he's worried, but I really don't want to be seen like this right now. I can't even remember the last time I cried. I run further down the hall and reach a dead end. There's a door off to my left that I recognize. This is the tunnel that leads to the village. Reissler, I know you said you wanted to talk about it later, but please, I'm really sorry. Okay, just to share my thoughts, Reissler, or Richter as everyone knows him, he's the one who put Lyle on the spot by being so forward with the words and also with expecting the kiss, even with just Lyle asking if he had feelings for him. So it's kind of iffy for me that Lyle is the one saying sorry, but I guess he has to say sorry because he knows that Reissler or Richter is feeling bad. I think Reissler or Richter is also in the wrong here, so I think he has to say sorry also. But that's just what I think. I run into the tunnel and quietly close the door behind me. It's extremely dark in here. I'm not even able to see silhouettes. Not to mention, since it's night, I can't even see the light up ahead. I feel my way around and find the wall of the tunnel. It's really cold. After steadying myself, I start to move forward, touching the wall and being careful not to trip. The noise of water drops hitting the floor is almost therapeutic. I step into a puddle of water and for a moment I think that I can see light. To test it, I take a step again and notice the water starting to glow. What the hell? I bend down and touch the water with my bare fingers. It's warm. Little swirls of glowing water show and light the area around me. What the hell is going on here? I've heard of water doing this before, but isn't that in the ocean? What's it doing down here? I take another step and use the light to guide my way through the tunnel. This only works for a few feet though, because the puddle is only so big. I steady myself on the wall again and work my way toward the exit. Judging by how long it's been, I should be getting close. I don't even know why I'm still walking anymore. I've stopped crying and I really want to go back inside. The air in here is freezing, and if I remember correctly, the trapdoor at the end is locked. I'm too far in over my head now, so I just keep going. I am completely sure that if I somehow get lost, Lyle will sniff me out. He was already hot on my trail after I had left the party. Suddenly, I trip over a dip in the terrain and fall onto a set of wooden steps. I manage to catch myself with my hands, and aside from the initial shock, I'm not hurt. I look up and I can see the faintest light breaking through the crack in the trapdoor. Climbing the steps slowly, I reach up and press my hand to the bottom of the door. The wood is cold and dusty. It opens. Did Lyle forget to lock it? No, I swear I remember him locking this. He wouldn't forget. Dust falls off of the door as I lift it up. Oh, wow, it's the town square in winter. The first thing I see is snow falling gracefully from the night sky. It's much warmer up here. Everyone's candles and torches are lit, so I assume they're inside of their homes. There are a few people walking down the streets, but the village square isn't nearly as crowded as it was 2 days ago. I look up and see the lanterns burning with a vitality fire. The area around them is almost completely devoid of snow. As it falls from the sky and hits the ground, the snowflakes dissipate and melt onto the cobblestone. I find a warm spot in the alley and sit down. I bring my knees up to my chin and wrap my arms around my legs. The lower half of my face is buried in my scarf, but I can still see snowflakes fall onto the black sleeves of my suit and melt. At this point, I don't really have any thoughts. I just feel like falling asleep here. I'm also waiting for the trapdoor to open any moment and for Lyle to come crawling through. I regret leaving him at the party. This whole situation just makes me feel so stupid. I don't know what's right or wrong anymore. I feel like I'm at fault, but I also wish someone would have warned me. I don't know. I feel so stupid right now. Everyone's always telling me how clever I am, but sometimes I feel like it's on accident. After sitting on the ground for a few more minutes, I hear distant mumbling. It's a low and quiet voice that sounds sad. It's coming from the fountain. I shuffle closer to the corner of the building I'm leaning against and lean around it. It's Adrius. The hell is he doing here? Is that why the door was unlocked? He's sitting at the fountain and looking up at the statue of his mother. I can see him mumbling to himself, rubbing the rim of the fountain with his ungloved hand. The water around the fountain is glowing a bright blue. I'm starting to think that the spring water here has some sort of luminescent quality to it. I watch him continue to talk to the statue, almost as if it was actually her. It reminds me of when people pray to their gods. How they sit down at an altar and talk to it as if it's some sort of vessel that they can use to communicate with the being. This is different, though. This isn't his god, though. It's his mother. I look for a bit longer before I realize that I probably shouldn't have seen this. Yeah, so Reissler walks in on Raynar mourning Queen Elena, and now he walks in on Adrius mourning her. Especially lurking in an alley. I hear the trapdoor open at the end of the alley and turn to see Lyle poke his head out of the entrance. He has a blanket in his arm. There you are. He closes the door softly and walks up to me. Are you okay? No, not really. I'll be fine though. Are you going to be okay? Yes. After you left, I didn't want to be there. Everyone kept looking at me and a few people actually questioned me about it. I'm sorry for leaving you there. I just really didn't want to be around anyone after that. I don't know how to feel, but everything just seems so confusing. I really do like you though. I see a small glimmer of a smile on his face. Reissler, it's fine. I know. He takes the blanket and wraps it around my shoulders. Let's go back to the castle. Even with the vitality lanterns, it's too cold out here. Okay. He leads me to the tunnel and I look back towards the direction of the fountain. Adrius is probably still sitting there. Something wrong? No. I just have a lot on my mind. He opens the door to the tunnel and leads me down the stairs. Yes, me too. He lowers the door and it closes with a resounding thud. I can hear him locking the door and then a few seconds later, he gently takes my hand in his paw. Oh, hand holding. Oh, so pure, so wholesome. After leaving the tunnel, we walk down the corridors for a bit. What is it? We're going to have to pass by the ballroom to get back to my room, right? Oh, yes. We could. Hmm. What? We could go to my bedchambers for a bit. Oh my gosh, Lyle, you're asking me to go to your room. It's not far from here, and we won't run into anyone. Sure, but only if you want to. That sounds nice. I have a really nice fireplace in my room, too. The servants have probably already lit it, so it should be nice and warm. So if you're okay with it, it's this way. Lyle! Yes? I said it was fine. Oh, yes. Haha. Sorry, I get carried away sometimes. Hey, it's fine. I'm not bothered by it. He takes my hand and leads me down a hallway I think I've been down before. I can't believe I haven't seen his room yet. This should be a good place to talk about what's happened. We arrive at the door and he fumbles with his keys. Sorry. He finds the right key and unlocks the door. Warm air rushes into my face as he holds the door open for me. Oh, wow. Indeed. Yes, those are the exact words written there. His room is so nice. Oh my gosh. My senses immediately get overrun by the color red. He steps past me as I stand by the doorway and walk over to his bedside table. Lots of red. Oh, yes. I love red. It's my favorite color. Really? Of course. I like it because it's warm and vibrant. It's also just nice to look at. I watch him fumble with some things on his dresser and take this moment to look around. The fireplace is really nice and I can feel the warmth of the fire wrapping around my legs. Above the mantel is a big painting. It's a dynamic portrait of a wolf warrior shrouded in a hood. Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. Well, I don't mean to criticize, but why do I see a horse instead of a wolf? Sorry, Atmac. He looks a bit like Lyle, but his fur is more of a reddish color. Sparks fly up around his figure, and the painting almost looks menacing. I turn my gaze down and notice a brush sitting on the mantel. There's a few long hairs sticking out of it. I guess this is what Lyle uses to tame that mane of his. I put down the brush and explore the other side of the room. Lyle seems pretty occupied right now. I see him throwing a bunch of stuff into a drawer. I didn't notice until I got closer, but his bed is massive. Yes, that is a very big bed. It's probably a normal size for him, but to me it's huge. So is everything. The fact that it's a canopy bed doesn't help. I'm pretty sure this room and everything in it was built for larger animals. I look over to Lyle and see what's behind him. Are those your drawings? Yeah. They're just sketches, though. Nothing really great to look at. I lean around and take a look at some of the drawings. Oh, wow! Lyle, these are really good. Thanks. He steps to the side and I walk up to the wall where his drawings are. Each one is an intricate sketch. Paws, flowers, there's even a drawing of a mountain landscape. Closer to the bottom is a self-portrait. Oh, over there. Wow. That is cool. I can imagine Lyle sitting in front of a mirror drawing himself. I don't think I could do that. I've never been that artistically inclined. He's smiling in the portrait and looks really cute. On the table is a couple of sketchbooks, some coins and a dagger stuck into a spot where I can see he stabbed it multiple times. I think back to people in brothels throwing their knives into the bar counter out of boredom. There's also some lit candles that aren't even in candle holders. Their wax spills out onto the top of the dresser and dries up. I guess he's a bit of a slob. The one part that stands out the most, though, is a large piece of parchment. There's a map of Tigran drawn on it. It's extremely detailed right down to every village. There's a bunch of red marks on it. What are those for? I point to one of the marks. Oh, those. Those are, Those are all the places I want to go. Like the other two kingdoms and Nero's clearing. I also really want to go here.
He points to a place on the map that's just above Erin.
I've heard that this river is beautiful during the summer.
I've been there before. The Lord's Bend is a beautiful river. I didn't get to see much of it though, but from what I saw, it's nice. He guides his finger down to an island off the coast of Dariz.
Have you ever been here?
I take a closer look, but I instantly know what he's looking at. The Parched Labyrinth? No, I can't say I have. Like you, I've only been to places near or just outside of Erin. Although I've heard that it's very dangerous there. I'm pretty sure it's an almost uninhabitable jungle.
I want to go there someday. Just to see it.
Maybe one day your duties will take you there. You never know. He stares at the map with a dreamy look in his eyes.
I hope so.
I look at the other spots that he's marked, and one stands out to me. Lover's Lake?
Huh? Oh, yes. I wanted to see that lake eventually. Because it's shaped like a heart.
He looks down at the ground and sits on the bed, letting out a big sigh.
I'm sorry for earlier.
Lyle, I said you don't have to apologize.
No, I do.
I shouldn't have even pried.
I didn't know that people would be listening. That was a conversation that we should have had here.
It's me who should be apologizing. Yes, I agree. I shouldn't have been so, you know. But I swear, I had no idea about the stigma of interspecies relationships.
I believe you. But yes, interspecies relationships are a bit taboo in Lyre. Most of the general public finds it a bit weird. In some cases, it's acceptable, but a human and a wolf? Forget it. We'd be the laughingstock of the entire kingdom.
Wow. I had no idea it was like that. Word of Lyre doesn't spread much outside the kingdoms, and it's definitely nothing like that in Erin.
Really?
Of course. It's completely normal. Even with the large human population, people still fall in love with other species.
No kidding?
He falls back onto his bed and sighs.
I have to get out of this kingdom.
Speaking of kingdom, what about the party? Shouldn't you be doing your job there? Not that I'm not enjoying the company. His tail swishes between his legs, rubbing up against the bed sheets.
Nah, I got someone to cover for me. It's fine.
For just a moment, all that can be heard is the fireplace. The crackling of the logs and the dancing of the flames. You know, you never did answer my question. He sits up in his bed and we're now eye level. What were you hoping I would respond with?
Oh.
It's okay. You probably already know how I feel about you. It's painfully obvious. I feel my throat tighten as these next words come out. I don't care what anybody thinks. I only care about what you think. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're the only person I genuinely care about. I love you, Lyle.
Oh my god, Reissler said I love you. Ah!
Everything about you. His eyes widen and I can feel myself getting nervous. That taste hits the back of my throat that usually happens when I'm on an adrenaline rush or when I'm scared. I wouldn't have made it through this past month without you. And damn everyone in this castle and their prejudice. My hands are fidgeting and I catch myself intertwining my fingers together. My legs are shaking and I feel like I'm about to vomit. If you don't want to be together because of what people might think, I understand. I could care less about my reputation, but I wouldn't want to damage yours. If that's the way it has to be, then... Before I know it, our lips have met and he's passionately kissing me.
Oh my god!
My heart skips a beat and I freeze up. His lips are warm and press into mine firmly. I kiss him back and soon we're lustfully embracing each other.
I exhale out of my nose and wrap my arms around him. I'm now sitting on top of him as he leans back further onto the bed. His tongue slowly works its way past my lips and I succumb to his desires. There's no holding back as we explore each other. I can feel his sharp teeth on my mouth and it feels weird, but good. His slightly wet nose presses against mine and I feel a puff of hot breath on my face. We both open our eyes and pull back to take a breath. He envelopes me in a tight hug and pulls me down onto the bed. His warm embrace feels too good, and as I hug him back, I lose myself in his warmth. I'm grinning ear to ear and feel myself lost in passionate thoughts. The sound of his tail rapidly thumping against the bed is pure bliss. He tightens his grip and kisses me on the forehead. I love you, Reissler. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You're the best thing that has ever happened to me. I feel the exact same way. I roll over on top of him and give him another kiss. It's not as long as the one before, but he enjoys it just as much. Oh, what is it? Someone's excited. He nods down to my groin and I finally realize that I'm almost fully erect, tented and somewhat jabbing him in the stomach. He's smirking at me with bedroom eyes and I get a bit flustered. I guess you're just a really good kisser. I am? His tail wags more, thumping against the bed. I move my hand down to his crotch and slowly rub his bulge. Oh my gosh, are we getting it on? It's big, just like I remember it being. He's not erect like me, but he's getting there. This elicits a slight whimper from him. I honestly expected a moan. Something wrong? It's just... You think I've forgotten what happened in the baths that one time? This causes him to turn completely red in the face. It's not like that. I was just taking a bath. Don't you want to give me another show? He lets out a quiet noise of embarrassment before answering. Yes. After that, I take off his jacket and shirt. Oh my gosh, it's starting. It's starting. His large muscular chest is now fully visible. Each pectoral is thick and makes him look powerful. He helps me a little bit by taking off his gloves and then we get to his pants. I get down on my knees as he sits on the bed and I start to undo his belt. I rub my hand over his furry lower stomach as I pull his belt out through its loops. A wide grin appears on his face and he even starts to kick his leg a little bit. Okay, so the next scenes are sex scenes, and as much as I want to put them on YouTube, I am a very small channel and I'm not willing to risk it right now. I will just be leaving snippets of the next scenes that I think are funny and good to watch. I will try a workaround for it and let's see if that works. If you want to experience the sex scenes in all their glory, I highly encourage you to download the game. It will support Atmac, the developer of this game, and yes, you'll be able to see them all in their glory. Oh my gosh, that is so so lustful. Yes, give me that lustful energy, Loyal. Yes, look at that. Oh my gosh. I watch him clumsily lean over towards his dresser and pull a jar out from the top drawer. He hands it to me and I open the lid. Exactly what I thought it was. Oh wow, medieval lube. The jar is full of lubricant with a few small finger marks that have run through it. It smells like flowers and other pleasant natural oils. Ooh, I'd like to have some of that lube. It smells like flowers. Ooh, I love flowers. You've heard of floral bed sheets? Well, now you've got floral lube. Okay, so quick summary of the sex scene. They suck each other off, and then we find out that Lyle is a big old bottom. He's diverse, I think. Anyway, It's been a few minutes since our romp in the sheets, and we're laying next to each other, holding hands. Thunder rumbles outside of the window, and it's somewhat calming. Being safe and warm in here during what's most likely a small blizzard. His paw is much bigger than my hand, and I feel so safe with it resting there. Wow. Yeah. You were amazing, darling. He squeezes my hand a bit. You're calling me darling now? I mean, only if you want me to. I don't know. What would you prefer I call you? Well, I always liked the term love. It's simple and rolls off the tongue. Very well. He crosses his arms with a bit of a grin. What? What about my lord? God, Lyle, you know I hate that. Really? I find it sexy. I giggle at this and roll over on top of him. Fine. You can only call me my lord when you are completely and utterly in love. He brings his paws up around my arms, slowly moving them up to my shoulders and then to the side of my face. I can feel his paws brushing against my beard slightly as he caresses my cheek. Very well. My lord. He leans forward and presses his lips to mine. I give in and kiss him back, taking the back of his head with my hand. My hands run through his thick mane as he runs his paws up and down my back. I pull away from him and he gasps in pleasure, sitting up. And what will you have me call you? I can see him thinking about it. Pal? Hell no. Buddy? No. Good boy? I swear I can see his tail start to wag for just a moment, before he reaches around and places his paw on it. Haha, very funny. I was thinking something more along the lines of my knight, if that's okay with you. But love works too. I rest my head onto his chest and rub my cheek onto his fur. My knight. I say this in a swooning voice, which causes him to laugh. You don't have to say it like that. There's a knock on the door. Shit. He swings his legs off of the bed and runs over to a tall dresser standing up against the wall. Lord Reissler? Hearing this, we both turn our heads towards the door and raise our brows, almost in unison. Lyle is in the middle of pulling his pants up around his waist and has his belt in his mouth. We bring our voices down to a whisper. How do they know I'm in here? Maybe someone saw you heading this way? Yeah, but I think of what Adria said earlier and it sends a shiver up my spine. Just a moment. I yell this toward the door as I put on my slacks and throw my shirt on without buttoning it. I walk towards the door and open it. It's the servant from earlier. Yes? Lord Reissler, the king wishes to see you in his chambers. Oh my gosh, are we gonna go hook up with Raynar now? Lol, kidding. It's like, Mr. Grey will see you now. Oh, right. I had completely forgotten that he wanted to speak with me later.
He left during the ball to take care of some urgent business. I was sent to come and get you some time ago, but you were no longer there. I'm told that you left the ball with Sir Reed.
He leans in and stares at Lyle standing there shirtless. Oh my gosh, Lyle, why are you still shirtless? Oh my gosh, he's gonna know. Yes, I did. There was a slight altercation, but all is well. His nose twitches and he straightens up.
The king has been waiting a long time. I suggest you find him at once.
I leave as soon as I can.
Very well. I trust you can find your way. His room is right down this hall and up the stairs.
I close the door slightly as I talk to them. I'll be there as soon as I can.
Good.
I close the door softly and lean against it. I guess I should get dressed. I'll come with you. No, it's fine. It shouldn't take long, and I'll be back as soon as I'm done. Plus, I want you in that bed when I get back. We can pick up where we left off. Oh, okay. I think I'm gonna go clean up, if that's okay with you. Silly, you don't need my permission. I quickly put my clothes on and head for the door. How does my hair look? It looks as great as ever, love. You sure? Of course. All right. I'll be back in a few minutes, hopefully. Love you. Love you too. Closing the door behind me, I turn and begin to walk down the hall. It's a very long hallway with a lot of doors that most likely lead to other royal apartments. I reach the end of the hallway and there's a large archway that leads to a pair of spiral stairs going up. Judging by where I think we are in the castle, I'd suggest this leads to one of the towers. This feels familiar somehow. A lot of things feel familiar lately. There are 2 guards standing at the front of the entrance to the stairs. It takes me a moment, but I realize that these are the 2 guards from a while back. The ones that were patrolling the hall after Lyre and I had met Kadaj. The bear stands straight with a large bastard sword pointed at the floor in front of him. The eagle is leaned against the wall with a dull look on his face. I approach the entrance and pause to wait for their approval. The bear looks down at me with a crooked smile. You have kept our king waiting an awfully long time, little lord. I turn and give him an incredulous look before walking forward. They aren't worth my time. Nobody is. Nobody but him. I start to ascend the staircase, and as I reach the top, I realize this isn't that large of a climb. There's only about 20 or 30 steps. When I reach the top, there's a common area and a large set of double doors with the Ossian crest in the center, surrounding the symbol of Tigran. Large bushes filled with flowers adorn the roof of this area, and a big window shines moonlight onto the flowers. Petals fall onto the ground in front of me, and as I step forward, I feel the leaves crunch under my shoes. Reissler loves his plants. I reach the doors and pull one of them open. It's a lot less heavy than I thought it would be, and it swings open with ease. Oh, now we're in Reissler's bedroom. It's very, very green. One of the first things I notice is a large amount of curtains and drapes. They obscure the moonlight and I can barely see a thing. The room is more like a large hall framed with canopies of white cloth, almost completely obscuring the walls and roof, almost like the ballroom. It's like I just walked into a larger version of a child's blanket fortress. I can see a canopy bed up ahead with large drapes and a small bit of light off to the right. The headboard is decorated with large antlers formed from silver. I'd say that chills run down my spine for some reason, but I think I have several reasons. Why is it so dark in here? And where is he? Maybe he got tired of waiting for me and left? I'm not sure if the ball is still going on anymore, considering it's been a couple hours. Hell, the village's festival ended much earlier in the day. I wouldn't be surprised if the ball didn't go too late into the night either. Everyone would have to go back to work tomorrow, so I'd understand them wanting to go to sleep early. I can feel myself getting slightly delirious too, and all I can think about is crawling back into Lyle's bed. I snap back to reality and realize my thoughts were trailing off again. I don't want to snoop around his room without him here, so I turn toward the doors and grab the handle. Okay, there's a voice. No. Something catches my eye right before I leave. This isn't right. There's a framed painting that has fallen to the floor off of one of the dressers. The glass slate on the inside is broken and pieces are scattered across the carpet. Slowly, I walk up to the frame, brushing aside the ivory drapes. It feels like I'm walking through a giant spider web. I kneel down to the floor and slide a bit of the painting out from the frame. It's a portrait of the royal family. It's small but extremely detailed. The queen is sitting in an elegant chair wearing an orange and white dress. Something that you would wear outdoors during the spring. On her lap is a small Adrius. He's smiling and holding his mother's hand. She's grinning down at him, and I notice her eyes are a beautiful golden brown, just like her son's. Behind the two of them is Reissler, his hand on her shoulder, looking down at the two of them. His face is plastered with a large grin, which feels weird because I don't think I've seen him smile like that before. I take the photo and set it down on the dresser. As I turn to my left, I notice something even more disturbing. There's large rips through the canopy of the bed. The moonlight shines through them and casts small strips of light onto the neatly made bed. What happened here? I toss a few drapes aside and rush towards the window on the other side of the bed. Oh my god! Oh my god! No, Reiner! Oh my god! Illuminating and casting a bright light onto the surface of every object in the room. At first, I don't believe what I'm looking at. It's like when you're trying to remember a dream from the night before and it's all blurry and distorted. No! Reiner is laying on the ground in a crumpled position. His legs are spread out and sticking out from behind the bed. That's when I notice the blood. The curtains shine with the crimson substance, and there's even a few spots where it's been smudged. The front of his body is splattered with a few strands and drops of it, and his hooves glisten with scarlet liquid. My legs become weak and I drop to my knees. My hands fall to the blood-stained floor to catch myself. No, no, no! I bring my face up to look at him, and I see his own. His eyes are wide open and his head is angled towards the window. They look as if they're staring at nothing, with tear stains streaming down his cheeks. Empty and glazed. I'm not sure if he's completely dead yet or not. The body still looks fresh. His throat has been cut to the bone, blood pooling out onto his chest and then onto the floor beneath him, creating a dark puddle. I think I can also see several stab wounds in his chest, but it could also just be stains. Surprisingly, it doesn't look like blood was sprayed anywhere. I watch most of it slowly seep out of his throat in thick coagulated streams. My eyes start to water, but no tears come out. I'm too shocked by the situation. A foolish thought enters my mind that this might just be one of those nightmares. I imagine waking up in Lyle's arms as he comforts me. That's not going to happen though. This isn't a dream. I describe it as a nightmare, but it's not one of those either. This is real. Thunder flashes outside again and I can see the reflection of it in his eyes. Who did this? There are guards outside of the entrance to this tower. To my left is a dagger. Where? The blade is dripping with blood and it stains the carpeted floor it rests on. It doesn't look like a special blade. The dagger looks like something you would buy at your average smith. My eyes trail back up to his cold face and the reality of the situation comes down upon me like a flood. I look up and notice some of the blood has been dripping off of one of the drapes and onto my coat. There's already a large stain forming. At first my body doesn't know what to do. I'm stuck kneeling there on the ground, frozen in fear. My heart is beating out of my chest and 1,000 thoughts are running through my head. Questions I so desperately wish to have answered. I try to stand up, but it takes me a moment. My head is splitting open again, and I can barely think. Once I'm on my feet and dry my tears, I take a look around. I have to go and tell someone. The guards! I stumble toward the door, not looking back. Oh my god, there's a voice! Oh my gosh! As I'm making my way around the desk, one of my legs gives out and I collapse to the floor. No! All of a sudden, a massive pain shoots up my spine and through my head. Why now? The pain becomes unbearable and I let out a horrible yell of agony. My eyes feel like they're about to fall out of my head. The door up ahead opens. Your Majesty? He cuts himself off and I hear him turn to someone behind him as I struggle to get up. Something's wrong. Stay here. At this point, I can barely hear the sounds of heavy footsteps over my own heartbeat. Oh my gosh, no! Oh my gosh, they might think Reissler did it. No, no, no! Ah! I managed to bring myself to a kneeling position. Stop right there. He stands over me with his sword drawn. What have you? He looks at me and then down at my hands before rushing over to the bed, his cape billowing behind him. At first I don't hear anything. It's as if the whole world has gone silent. All I can hear is the blood rushing through my veins. Finn. Alert the castle. King Reissler is dead. What? But he was only in here for... Go, now. I'll deal with it. I hear footsteps run out into the hall and down the stairs. Slowly, I wrench my body around so I'm facing the knight. He prepares to raise his sword. You'll die for this, foreign scum. My heart is racing and I find myself unable to get a clear sentence out. I quickly gather myself. He brings his sword down and I swiftly roll to the side. His sword catches in the ground and gets stuck. I'm now on all fours and try to break into a sprint. I can't remember the last time I've done this. I don't have time to revel in my reflexes though. My feet slip on the floor, but I regain control and bound towards the door. Just as I reach the entryway, the rug gives out and I slip, slamming my forehead into the ground. Everything goes hazy and in an act of sheer will, I lift myself up and turn around, trying to regain my vision. The bear has pulled his sword out from the ground and is lumbering toward me. Please, you're making a terrible mistake. What is the meaning of this? Lyre rushes into the doorway, his paw placed on the pommel of his dagger, ready to draw. I watch his eyes settle on me and then he looks up to the bear. Sir Bjorn, lay down your sword this instant. He killed the king. His eyes contract and I watch the fear wash over his body. What? He looks behind us at the body laying on the floor. Oh, Lyre, come on. Please believe that it's not us, that we didn't do it. Reissler didn't do it. I caught him trying to run away from the scene of your crime. No, it wasn't like that. I was running to... Quiet. Lyre then looks down at me. His face has a mixture of shock and anger. He looks up at Bjorn. Lay down your sword! His voice is shaking. This is the first time I've heard him shout and it's terrifying. Bjorn is reluctant, but he lowers his sword. He walks up to me and stands over me for a moment. Lyre, please. I didn't... It wasn't me. He looks down at me with fear and then looks up at Bjorn. I can see he's clearly conflicted. My heart is thumping in my chest and I feel like a cornered animal. Lyre then bends down and grabs my arm. He's not gripping me too hard, but slowly lifts me up. Lord Reissler, you are under arrest for suspicion of crimes against the Kingdom of Lyre and the murder of King Ragnar Ossian. He takes a pair of shackles and binds my hands behind me. Oh no, Lyre, no! Why? Why? What? Is this seriously happening? Lyre! Lyre, you know I didn't do it! Bjorn is standing by the king, clearly not happy with this outcome. I'll take him to the dungeons. No. I'll take him. Has the rest of the castle already been alerted? I see him tighten his grip on the pommel of his dagger. Yes, I sent Finn to alert the castle. His grip loosens and I feel him tug on my shackles. As we turn away, he whispers in my ear quickly. It's an extremely quiet whisper, but I pick up on it. Trust me. A slight wave of relief washes over me. I don't know what he could possibly have planned, but anything is better than being executed on the spot for a crime I didn't commit. He begins to lead me to the door. Bjorn, I need you to stay here and wait for the others to arrive. I'm sure that they will be here soon. Understood. Bjorn lumbers over to Ragnar's body, getting down on one knee. Lyre leads me out into the hallway and he almost breaks into a sprint. He doesn't talk. He just looks straight ahead. After we descend the spiral staircase, he slows his pace a bit. I can't tell if he's angry at me or not. Lyre, you know I didn't do it, right? More silence. I hear bells start to toll off in the distance. They send a foreboding feeling running up my spine. My eyes start to water as the fear takes over. Every part of my body is shaking. We come to a junction in one of the hallways. There's loud commotion up ahead, so he takes me down another hall. Once we reach ground floor, we spot Kadaj walking down the hall with 2 Durizian guards behind him. Lyre keeps moving forward, not paying him any mind. Reissler, what on Tigran has happened? Lyre ignores this and keeps walking. All I can do is look at him with a desperate expression. I don't know what I can do right now. I'm still recovering from the shock, but I find it very hard with all the shaking. I think Kadaj realizes something is terribly wrong, so he starts to walk faster towards the commotion, his guards following quickly behind him. We descend further and further down into the castle's lower floors. It becomes colder and colder, and I can feel goosebumps rising on my skin. Lyle takes me down a hall with several cell doors. He goes to the very end and unlocks a door that leads to a large cell. It's terribly dark down here, and my eyes don't have time to adjust to the shadows.
Reissler.
Yes? I hear him fall to his knees. He's crying, I can tell. He wraps his arms around me and pulls me into a tight hug.
I'm so sorry. I should have went with you from the beginning. I didn't want you to feel like I was babying you. I should have gone with you, though. It's my job. I should have gone with you. I should have...
I grasp his face from what I can see in the dark and give him a kiss.
You couldn't have known.
He gasps and lets out a shaky exhale.
What happened up there?
I don't know. I walked into his chambers and the entire place was dark. He wasn't there, so I went to leave, but then saw how trashed the room was. After that, that's when I found... My hand comes up to my mouth as I remember the vivid imagery. I try my best to hold myself back from vomiting. Thankfully, I keep it down. I don't know why they think it was me.
You were found at the scene of the crime. Nobody else could have gotten in there, so it had to be you in their eyes.
Then why was he dead?
I don't know. The body was freshly killed, too.
You don't actually think I...
Of course not.
He lets out a shaky sigh and hugs me.
I had to arrest you. Otherwise, you would have been executed on the spot.
Why were they going to do that?
They aren't supposed to, but Bjorn isn't a rule follower. He likes to seek justice in his own way.
He pauses and I can feel him shaking. Lyle, you just saved my life. He hugs me tighter and then releases me.
You'll have to spend the night here.
Okay.
And I'll have to go.
This makes my heart sink, but I accept it. Okay.
I'm so sorry. We will get this all sorted out. Don't worry. They'll understand.
With that, he gives me a soft kiss on the cheek. He stands and I can hear him lock the door behind me.
I love you, Reissler. I'll come back for you. Sir Reed, the prince.
Yes, I know. The last noise that I hear, other than the chiming bells, is the sound of his footsteps as they run off. I don't know what to do. A million thoughts run through my head, but they all conjoin at the same path. What happens next? I find a wooden bench in the dark and lay down on it. Tears stream down the side of my face, but I don't care anymore. All I can do is succumb to the darkness as I pass out. No dreams tonight. Just one word echoes through my mind like a bell.
Wits.
To be continued. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh, oh my, oh. I can't. I can't. I can't. Oh my god. I'm crying. Reynard. Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh my gosh. I'm just... I'm just... Oh. That build was so much of a shocker. It was really an emotional roller coaster. Like, we were brought to the highs with the ballroom scene with Lyle, and of course the wonderful loving scene that they had in Lyle's room, and now this. Oh my gosh, I just can't. It's too much. But Atmac, oh my gosh, you're such a good writer. Oh, I just can't. Oh, Oh my gosh, I'm recording this late into the night, because life gets in the way. But I still want to do this. I find joy in this. So, oh my gosh, I have no more words for it. It's just, I just really, oh my god, Minor. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I normally end my let's reads with joyful note, but I can't. I really can't do it right now because of what I'm feeling. I really got involved in the story, and I'm just so shocked. I guess that's it for now, guys, and thank you for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Hello, Arcand from a little into the future from the recording. And if you reach this part, I would really like to know what flavor of ice cream is your favorite. Leave that in the comments below. If you had a great time watching this, hit the like button and leave a comment too. Of course, you don't have to. By simply watching this video, that already means a lot to me. If my content sparks joy in you, subscribe to my channel. It would mean the world to me as a small content creator. That's it for now. Bye!